Okie dokie then. It's Monday. It's Q&A time. Want to have your questions answered? You know the deal. Check out the description box. Da 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 da. All right, very good. So we got that out of the way. Terrific. Let's get to the questions now. At DJ Ultradonis, my man asks, how long do you think it's going to take for the WWE to give Kenta a dancing gimmick? I don't know if they'll give him a dancing gimmick, but I'll go under 18 months before they do something really stereotypical and really stupid with him. It's probably what I would say. Somewhere around 18 months. They'll do something stereotypical or stupid with him. How about that? At Aponte J. Smooth, besides the streak ending, what is something in wrestling you thought you would never, ever see? Oh, first one that could stand out to me was Vince McMahon on that simulcast on that March 26, 2001 Nitro, where Shane's in the ring on Nitro and Vince is in the ring on Raw. That's one thing I thought I would never, ever, ever see. At Dexter C73, should the WWE have Michael Hayes in the New Nation storyline? You fucking A right, they should. Because he should be the representation of how the black man has been held back by the WWE. How the black man and other non-white wrestlers have been given so many stereotypical, borderline prejudicial, discriminatory, if not racist storylines and gimmicks by the WWE over the years. Absolutely, you should involve Michael purely racist Hayes in it. Shit, yes. At D_Rizzle. Bigger WWE mistake. Not getting Hogan Flair at WrestleMania 8. Not getting Hogan Austin at WrestleMania 18. Or Austin's heel turn at WrestleMania 17. It's two things we didn't get versus one that we did get. What was the bigger WWE mistake? I'll throw out WrestleMania 18 only because we did get Hogan Rock. And that's special and timeless in its own way. Austin heel turn at 17. It was the one that actually happened, but fortunately for the WWF, they were at a time in a position where, frankly, could do whatever the fuck they want. They were the only show in town. I will go with Hogan Flair at WrestleMania 8 because this was shit that we had waited for almost a decade. You finally had Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair in the same goddamn company. You were going to have WrestleMania 8 at the Hoosier Dome in Indianapolis where you could put 60, 70,000 people in it. And I don't give a shit what type of spin the WWE tries to put on this over the years about why they didn't go there and why it didn't happen. The bottom line is they screwed the pooch, they fucked up big time, and robbed us of one of those truly timeless matches that had no business happening 2 years later at Bash of the Beach 94 in fucking WCW, period. That's the bigger mistake. At New Flavor 408, you're an 80s baby. Yes, I am. What are your thoughts on the new Ninja Turtles movie trailer? Stupid. Not gonna watch it. How about that? Looks dumb. Megan Fox is stupid. Next. At Madden God 45, what would you say the chances are that Seth Rollins cashes in and loses? I'll say at least 50-50. Probably a little bit better than that because I have some trouble figuring out a way where Seth Rollins is actually going to be able to fit it in sometime between now and July. Especially if they go with Lesnar winning the title. I highly doubt they're going to have Seth Rollins cash in on him. If they're going to have Lesnar go on a lengthy title reign, I doubt they're going to sit there and want to have Roman Reigns, let's say, beat him at WrestleMania 31, and then Roman Reigns lose 2 or 3 months later. I would doubt it. So I think there's a very good chance that Rollins could cash in and lose. I really do. Or lose the briefcase before he'd ever have a chance to cash in. At NEFX, bigger travesty, not main eventing a WrestleMania. Hogan Rock at WrestleMania 18, Flair HBK at 24, or Taker HBK at 25. Hogan Rock at 18. You have Hulk Hogan, you have the fucking Rock. The fact that that didn't main event still befuddles me to this day, especially when that was the match that you were promoting the entire show on the back of. Period. They weren't putting out the posters and the flyers with fucking Triple H and Jericho and Stephanie. It was fucking Hogan Rock. Now you get to 24, and Flair, everybody knows it's his last match. It's his last go-round. How in the hell is anything going to follow this? And it's got Shawn Michaels. You know this match is going to kick ass. You know this match is going to tell a hell of a story. You know this is going to be Ric Flair's swan song in the WWE. How the hell that didn't main event still to this day astounds me. But I think the biggest travesty has to be Taker and HBK at 25, and let me tell you why. You've got The Undertaker, never lost at WrestleMania, versus the guy that many christen as Mr. WrestleMania, Shawn Michaels. You have to know goddamn good and well that unless something goes drastically and terribly wrong, that there is no blue chance in any freaking hell that any other match on that card, up to and including Orton and Jericho, or Orton, and Triple H for the title, is going to be able to follow it up in any way, shape, or form. Especially when you saw what happened at 18, and you saw what happened the year before at 24, where all the life was taken out of the crowd because that one match sandwiched in the wrong place in the show fucked up the flow of the rest of the show. You repeated your freaking mistake again at 25. It was ridiculous. It was stupid, and the WWE paid the price for it. Yeah, they tried to main event it the next year, and that's great at all, but ultimately it was nothing more than the mid-card rematch from the show at the 25th anniversary WrestleMania. Fucking ridiculous. It's one thing to make the mistake once or even twice, but the third time around, you had too many things indicating main event this fucking match, dipshits. And they freaking didn't do it. Outstandingly stupid. At WV_CAWS, since Spike will not renew TNA's TV deal, do you think this is the end? And if not, what will TNA do now? Well, what will they do now? They will sit there with clenched whole rings between now and October and desperately hope to God that they get themselves a television deal. Because if they do not get a new television deal that allows them to pay the bills at least somewhat, the company will be done. Period. This is not even up for discussion. It will be done. Is this the end? No, because they still have a few months. I do wonder why the hell they bothered hiring United Talent Agency, who I thought was supposed to help them get this television deal done with Spike TV, only to obviously not get it fucking done. I'll talk about it in a video later this week, but it's not the end yet. But the clock has begun. Tick-tock, tick-tock. At WWE 961, WWE gives you the chance to shuffle their 2015 pay-per-view schedule. Which shows stay and which shows go? The big four all stay. Most of the filler crap pay-per-views go. I mean, at this point in time, frankly, you've got the WWE Network. You don't have to have 12 shows anymore. You just don't. I mean, even if you did 9 or 10, did them every 6 weeks instead of every 3 or 4. Maybe I'd keep Money in the Bank, maybe, but I'd still like to throw that in as a part of the WrestleMania show. I'd bring back King of the Ring for sure. In terms of what shows I would add, I'm not really sure other than that at this point without thinking about it more. But, obviously keep the big four. I would entertain the thought of maybe keeping Money in the Bank, but that would be about it. Let's see here. At Heel Haboob asked, what's worse, the NBA now or the WWE now, and why? The WWE. Yeah, I'll say the WWE. Because they're overexposing their product. They're, hemorrhaging money. And I don't think the NBA is hemorrhaging money. While the products are not nearly as good as they once were, I've seen some improvement in the NBA product over the past few years and seasons, whereas the WWE, to me, either stays stagnant or declines. It doesn't really improve all that much. Some might say some of the in-ring components have improved, and they're not totally wrong about that. But again, there's more to a show than just the in-ring product itself, the match itself. And think in general, the WWE either stagnates or slightly declines, whereas the NBA has at least gotten a little bit better in some aspects, and they're not hemorrhaging money like the WWE is. At KCCO_UK, at this point, is Bray Wyatt being held down by the Wyatt family, as all he does is talk and there is muscle? You could maybe get to that point in time because there's that lazy tendency to just have him sit there and have him talk and have Rowan and Harper go do his dirty work. Yeah, especially because Bray Wyatt probably needs to be babyface and they need to go with, and as long as he's going to be around Rowan and Harper, they're probably going to try and fight the grain and keep him heel. So I think there is something to be said about he could be being held down right now by that. Yeah, absolutely. Add in the Rope Show asked, did you enjoy the commentary team of Mick Foley and JR on SmackDown? Not particularly. I don't think Mick Foley's a great commentator. I think he's adequate. JR on SmackDown, a place he clearly at the time to me didn't want to be, and who could blame him? I just didn't think it was a good pairing. I just didn't think it was a good match. I didn't think it was the right match for the right show. Frankly, to me, JR always played best off of Lawler. And anything other than JR and Lawler, I don't think worked as well. That's just what I think. At Matt Meffe 2, do you think that the WWE's other Big Four pay-per-views should be held in bigger arenas or stadiums? Yes, I do. Especially SummerSlam. Especially SummerSlam. This is supposed to be your big spectacle of the summer. This is supposed to be your big show of the summer. And what better way to emphasize the summer and sunshine and beaches than to be cramped up in the Staples Center in LA every year? Yes, absolutely. I think SummerSlam should be outside every year. This is the summer. This is supposed to be your big summer show. So you should have a show that feels like the big summer bash, the big summer spectacular. And I'm sorry, cramming it into the freaking Staples Center every year is not getting the job done for me. So if there was one other show that I would argue needs to go in bigger venues and bigger stadiums, even if you did it instead of in football stadiums like you tend to try and do with WrestleMania, did it in some baseball arenas, I'm fine with that because you still could put 40, 50,000 people in there, maybe a little bit more with some floor seating on the infield and on the diamond. You got to do that, I think, with SummerSlam. You got to emphasize that this is the big summer show. This is the big summer bash, if you will. The big summer fest, as Jeremy Piven said. And at Jamie Ennis NZ closes out this Q&A with, would it work if WWE did a brand split and made one brand PG and one brand TV-14, i.e. something for everyone? I get your concept and I get and understand what you're saying, but I think it would send a very what's the word I want to look for? I think it would send very conflicting signals to the talent, to the company, to the shareholders, to the board of directors, to the fans, to everybody involved, the advertisers, the TV network. Why do you have one show with this and another show with this? Now, granted, they did have that back in the Attitude Era, but again, that was a morning show that was entirely different. When they had Raw was this and that was that, and that was the primary sole identity of the company. To me, I think they could still provide something for everybody in the context of a PG brand, but do more PG and less rated G, if you get what I'm saying. I don't think doing one brand PG and one brand TV-14 is the way to go either, because ultimately what you might end up doing is dividing your audience. You might give the TV-14 to the TV-14 type of crowd that really likes that stuff, and then they won't watch your PG stuff. And then your PG fans are going to say that this is too risque or too violent or too sexual or too vulgar, and they're not going to watch this. And like I said, you divide your audience, and eventually I think you'll start losing some audience, and it won't be a good thing. But that's just me. Again, thanks to all of you guys that submitted your questions for this Q&A. Q&As happen every Monday, Wednesday, Friday here on OTRS Central. Information on how to participate, get your questions submitted and answered is all in the description box down below. I will see you again Wednesday for the next Q&A. Make sure you check out the SummerSlam review series, which is well underway on this channel, and all the other great video content on OTRS Central all month long.